Good evening. Monday night, and every Monday night we do our Power Book 4 Force review show because we're in the middle of Power Book 4 Force, as well as we're going to discuss the Oscars and some of the things that took place during the Oscars. But tonight we have my beautiful co-host Keisha and Dwayne, and we're just going to get right to it. Power Book 4 Force, Episode 7. Thoughts. I'll lead off first tonight. I know how both of y'all feel. I thought the episode was a little misplaced. I keep saying it over and over. One thing I thought was crazy with Diamond. Diamond didn't want to have anything to do with Dahlia in episode 5. It was too many unknowns. Episode 6, he comes back and he takes Dahlia to Tommy after Jannar gets some, and it says, "Tommy, what do you know about it?" Which I thought was interesting because Tommy's a newcomer to the town, so he wouldn't know anything about Dahlia. And then we go on to episode 7, where he kept saying he didn't want to know anything about Dahlia. So I thought that was interesting. Like I said, like I've been saying since the beginning of Power Book 4 Force, is I have a big issue with them leaving out small details. I know that I could be nitpicking. However, the small details that they miss out on are big to the storyline. Nobody really knowing who Tommy is but Liliana and JP, but everybody knows his whole name. You even got Father Flynn calling him Tommy Egan. I just always thought that was weird, and you need to explain in depth how these people know who he is. Even to the point like him being allowed to move around Chicago and nobody knock his block off. I don't think that's real. I think somebody would have killed him. I don't think that you come to a town and you know on the law of the land when every town got laws. Street laws prevail. Even to this day, people may not want to admit it on camera and people may not want to say it. Street laws prevail. And you ain't going to another town and not following the laws of that town. That's just how it goes. So I'm really disappointed in Power Book right now. They holding on to me because we do like the whole Power universe, but I just thought this episode couple couple with the last couple episodes has just been poorly done, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I really can't wait for them to be done with it in the 6 months. Hopefully they regroup and the writers get their stuff together. Dwayne.
Well, I got a week off next week. They're not showing an episode. Thank goodness for that because they needed a week off 4 weeks ago. Um, not a fan. I don't understand the whole writer with Diamond, and now Diamond knows that she's a writer and all that. Very predictable. Very predictable that the Gloria chick was going to die. That was very predictable. The whole JP son is now a math prodigy. He could just sit there and calculate stuff in his mind. It's uh it's laughable. Um Now they going down to Cleveland to meet the guy down there without his family member. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, no. You want the Gary Indiana without the young boy, like
Yeah, Gary. Yeah.
Jannard went without, and they didn't even ask him. He didn't even say like, "What's up with Lil Cuz?" He
Mm,
didn't say nothing about him. He just took him some Dahlia, like here,
yeah. Yeah.
basically
So
just bring the goons when I make the call.
so they cut this drug, right? They cut it. They really cut the drug
It doesn't
to
glow
be
no
able.
more.
It don't glow, but it's still giving you the same high as much as they cut it down. And now JP gonna be able to cook and cut drugs. That's what they're leading us to believe. You got Liliana all intrigued by him and his voice and talking about, oh, y'all mother made handsome sons. And JP ain't even tell her that he liked the ding-a-ling. Excuse my language. But Claudia's all over the place. You know, the way Walter Flynn looks at it, right? I still think this is just me. I could be wrong. I'm thinking a little bit outside the box. I still think Walter Flynn had something to do with Gloria being dead. They making it seem like it was the Serbs. And I know the Polish dude told him he
I ain't
never
got no
put the
books. I
he
think
never
it's the
put the hit on.
uncle. Don't ask me. My hand
Right.
like
You know,
this.
you got the Polish dude that said he never put the hit on. And Walter was like, that's why you are who you are. But I don't think Walter was happy that he ain't put the hit on. You know? So it's just a lot of stuff. Seem like they all over the place. They acting like the Shah all of a sudden.
I'm gonna ask you, Dwayne. Do you think that they're getting to a point where they don't even know what to write? I mean, I know that Keisha had mentioned last week that a lot of people are upset because Courtney's not there, and you can tell. I even saw some of the chinks in the armor before Courtney in Power Book 2 Ghost. That one of the things that you can't do in these shows, and I get it. I get what they doing, but you have to understand that the bar that has been placed on black shows, on shows that speak about the culture, whether the writers are black or not, or the creators are black, most of us will agree that The Wire was probably one of the most realest shows ever. And we compare a lot of these crime drama shows that main characters about our people to The Wire. And even though he was a reporter, I think the guy's name is David Simon, who did The Wire, the stories were loosely based off of real characters, but they were believable stories. I think that the problem with Power is that it's becoming to a point where some of the stories are not believable. And it's like you can't do this to your audience. Your audience is watches these episodes 2, 3 times. Every small detail they pay attention to, and then it's like you play your audience for dumb. How the hell did JP get Kate's number all of a sudden?
I
Hmm.
don't know.
She was the next of kin, I would assume.
Yeah,
See,
he got
see,
it from the
Yeah,
people
see,
at the hospital.
probably. Yeah, the
Keisha,
next
we
one,
Keisha,
baby.
we picking up y'all whole house right now in the microphone, Keisha.
It's all right. The
Look,
more the merrier.
Keisha, the sad thing is that you have to assume that she was the next of kin. That's the problem I've been having with the series. It's like, yeah, but he didn't even know who was the next of kin when he asked the lady at the hospital.
Yeah, but if you notice, they've been doing this a lot this season. Okay, they probably told him at the hospital. It goes back to when all of a sudden Tommy had the people in the trunk and blew the car,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
they didn't tell you. So they've been doing that a lot this year. So he probably got the number from the people at the hospital.
But he killed, even with that, he killed her two goons, and now she's buying Dahlia off, and she never mentioned like, "Did you take my two men?" Just and it just for me, Dwayne, and we watch a lot of shows, us three, and it's funny because we watch a lot of shows that are dramas, law shows, different type of shows. So this is why we really started doing reviews because we would see things and be like, "Yo, you saw such and such," and we decided to start a review show a couple years ago. So we enjoy watching good shows, and really we work with the writers. I just think this is really bad, and we can't blame COVID on this because we saw a bunch of shows take a COVID break and come back, and the writing is still excellent.
Who's writing? Because the Power Books writing really hasn't been good. So I think what my take is the last two episodes wasn't really bad. And I've hated the series from the entire time. I think that if they've taken too long to get here, I think they followed the whole Power formula of moving slow and they've lost their audience.
Mm. And and it's funny, we mess with Tyrone. Tyrone's in the chat talking about he's out, it's bad. We mess with Tyrone about it, and I think that one of the things that, and I'm not praising us or patting us on the back, I want us to always be authentic, and none of us try to coerce each other into saying the show is great, and the others don't believe it. I mean, and I want us to do a review show and be honest, but it's just not holding me. And I know that this is a bunch of people be like, well, why y'all still doing a review show? this is what we do.
Because we
The show,
started and
the
we're gonna
show is
finish.
bad, and the Shy has been bad, and
I
and
mean,
it's
if we're continuing to do the shot, like I don't know what Bart's. I don't even understand his character. I feel like it's a waste for him to be on the
It
show.
is.
he's
It's a
too
waste.
much of a good actor
A
for the
waste of
role
his
that he's
talents.
playing. He's
A waste of
actually
his.
better. He actually could play a better Jannard than Chris Lofton. I don't like what they're doing with Chris Lofton with Jannard. I just
Yeah, I
think
think he's
it's
still acting well though.
I
I
think
think
it's
Chris
just the
Lofton is still
storyline.
acting well.
The storyline is stupid though, Dwayne,
No,
with
it's
Jannard.
stupid, but I want to say like because you said you think Bart would do a better job. I don't know how much better you could do with the storyline that they giving Chris
Mm,
Lofton.
okay. Okay.
And I didn't like the whole reporter aspect. I didn't like that at all.
It was dumb.
Um, it was dumb. I mean, because he googled her. I
Yeah.
didn't like the daughter. What is she up to?
Well,
I'm not feeling her at all.
she
I mean,
trying to get in a partnership with Tommy, and then trying to make side moves as well.
my
She don't
my,
know what she
my thing
want to
with
be.
Claudia is very. I will say that I'm intrigued by Claudia, and what I mean intrigued is to me it's showing a side of her culture that a lot of people in urban culture may not know about women from another culture in their forwardness. However, Tommy's bringing in all this money with you playing the back. Now all of a sudden you want to be in, and even Diamond peeped game when he was like, "Well, if it's only 10%, then you ain't the boss." Like, why would she try to even deal with other people outside of Tommy? I guess when you look at what power is about, everybody wants power. So this is why the name always fit what goes on in the show. But it's just weird. It's really weird. Really weird. Anthony, the next book after Force is Trash. That's the next book after Force.
Supposed to
No,
be
it's supposed to
influenced.
be Influence, and that's supposed to be the spinoff with Lorenz Tate, which
Yeah.
Dwayne and myself and Keisha have always said that Lorenz Tate might not be able, as good as an actor that we think he is, he might not be an actor who could hold his own series. You see this with Force. As good as an actor as Joseph Sikora is, and Joseph Sikora is a hell of an actor.
That's
But
why they should have kept Proctor alive, because I think Proctor would have been a better story um,
yeah,
for a spinoff with,
yeah,
everything with his family and
exactly,
everything
I think.
else.
exactly.
I
I
think with
mean,
influence. I'm sorry.
And if you notice, Anthony, Joseph Sikora cannot hold a show. As good as he
Yeah.
is as an actor, one of, they're changing his character. If anybody knows the old Tommy from Power, is not the same person. They're making him more emotional now and more caring. The old Tommy didn't care, and as y'all know, his favorite phrase was, "I'm gonna cancel Christmas." He ain't said his phrase yet. Now he's more
Um.
dealing with the emotion of his mother, dealing with the emotion now. He know that's his nephew. Like Liliana is basically his voice of reason, and she
Yeah.
keeps him in line. And their relationship is interesting. Like
I mean,
Dwayne, you wanted to go ahead.
back on the influence thing. I think you may see more of Davis on influence as well. I think you because now that Tariq's trial and all that stuff is over. What does he really have to do in Power Book 2? See what I'm saying?
And that, and
So
and
they
that
already showed this episode, this season of Power Book 2, his influence as far as how he got the judges and he was able to make sure they were in front of the right judge. So I think they're gonna put the Davis character on the influence with the Tate character and all that.
yeah, you guys make sure you hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit
But it's like
the like button and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, make sure you hit the heart emoji to allow the algorithm to promote the show. Go ahead,
it's
Dwayne.
almost like I'm like wake me when this series is like wrapped up.
Dwayne, let me ask you a question because I know the first couple episodes you really liked.
I was on it. First 3
What
episodes.
what was it in these episodes that just turned you completely off? Because you watched, for those in the chat, Dwayne didn't watch 5 until last week. He watched 5 and 6 back to back, right? Or was 6 and 7 back to back?
What we just had? We just had what? Episode 8?
Yeah. He watched 6 and 7 back to back.
6 and 7 back.
And I thought it was 7. I might have put in the description 7, so I apologize. But yeah, Dwayne watched episode 6 and 7 back to back last week, right before we came on. And what was it, Dwayne, that in what episode and what moment did it just turn you to?
Now let me ask you a question before I answer that question, right? We've been doing these review shows for a while, right? When have you known me not to watch an episode?
Well, I know that you had some prior obligations. You was traveling,
but I could have found the time.
But I do think that Keisha, myself, and I know you have another friend that watches the show. I think you kind of would have won off our vibe if we'd have been like, "Yo, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it." I think you checked the temperature, and when you said, "Yo, how was it?" and I was like, "You gotta see it," and you didn't hear the excitement in my voice, that lets you know, like, I ain't in a rush to see it. And then last Monday, I know you got bombarded with work, so I know you couldn't. Well, 2 Mondays ago, you got bombarded with work, so you couldn't watch it. But I'm really just disappointed in the overall direction of where it's going. Like Keisha said earlier, Dwayne, the only thing that I'm looking forward to, and I know that y'all in the chat may not understand this, I only care about Kate. Like, this show to me, honestly, because Kate was so off the chain in Regular Power, I want Kate to come to Chicago and be that itch. It may sound crazy. I want her to come to Chicago, blow up Flynn, and be like,
Dwayne, what is Kate really going to do in Chicago?
Listen,
tear up. Kate is going to tear up. Kate, because that father, that black guy, her baby father, he was like, she ain't worth nothing. Kate is going to go in and cause havoc.
Dwayne, Kate could come there and set the record straight that she never really abandoned JP, that she got ran out of the town. And she could put a lot.
I just don't see it.
They need it. They need an infusion of something.
Yeah, but she wasn't like that during the Regular Power. Kate was just
Dwayne. People like
crazy.
Kate. People like Kate.
I like Kate.
Her and Tommy's relationship was so volatile that, and we could relate to the Kate and Tommy relationship. We grew up with people like that who had weird relationships with their parents.
If y'all looking for Kate to save this, there better not be a season 2. There better not be a season 2 if y'all looking for Kate.
Tell us in the chat. Let y'all know every week in the chat, we like to get you guys ratings. After we do the ratings, we're definitely going to talk about the Oscars. So let us know y'all ratings. I'll tell my rating now. My rating is a 3.1. It's a 3.1. I like Liliana. I think Liliana is bringing more to the show than a lot of other actors in the show. I think that the whole Gloria thing was wrong. Why would you bring her back for one episode just to kill her off? I mean, you could.
She was useless, though. They should have been killed off.
You could have just let her run. She was useless at the end of the day, like you said, Keisha, because she didn't even last a full season. She lasted 5 episodes, 6 episodes. So I'm giving it a 3.1.
They're making it seem like the Serbs killed her. I don't believe it. I think there's 2 things we need to realize about Walter Flynn. One, he was not letting his son marry Gloria, okay? And 2, he was not letting Gloria take his son away from the family business because he feels that his son is the heir apparent.
So maybe the black guy took Kate from him when they was in high school.
Yeah, because Walter Flynn is the one that bankrolled the care
That's the
of the
but see
grandmother.
that is our running theory. Us three's running theory. Let's say
Tommy
if
is a Flynn. Tommy is a Flynn.
how
I
did you
think
feel about
Kate.
the invite when he tried to
I
invite him in the family?
listen. I think Kate and Walter are brother and sister, and you see how he don't like black people. He don't want his son with a black woman, right? So everybody is right. Think about that line that Vincent used on his father. How that work out for you before? Now everybody assumed he was talking about his mother. No, he's talking about his sister Kate and how she ran off after having that black baby. And he cut his sister out the family. That's what Vic is talking about when he says, "How did that work out for you before?"
I
Tommy is
like
the cousin
I like our
of
running
Vic
theory.
and Claudia.
We'll be pissed. We'll be pissed if it ain't true, but our running theory seems to be
That's what it
good.
is.
So do we have a rating out of you, Dwayne?
A 1.6.
Oh,
It didn't keep my attention. The whole diamond with the reporter scene. They should have kept that diamond with the reporter scene on the cutting block. All right. Liliana all of a sudden getting hot and bothered at JP's voice. Say that again. Say it again. Like,
I mean, women like bisexual men, Dwayne.
okay, well, whatever. The son is a prodigy all of a sudden. He's some math wizard. The son is Albert Einstein all of a sudden. Tommy's using a calculator. This Joker just got it off the dome. And let me tell y'all something else. And do y'all really think if this was real, and again, I know this is just TV, do you think CBI would just be letting that boy just walk around? He know too much. They'd have killed his ass. They'd have killed JP's son by now. He know too much about what they doing. They just gonna let him roam free. How many times did Gerard tell him, "I'm giving you another chance to get the job done"? And he keep failing. Come on, man.
I just find it.
1.7.
I find it very interesting. What's going on? Keisha, do you have a rating? Any rating from the chat? Any ratings?
I'm gonna go a little higher than y'all. I'm gonna say a 4.5. Like I said, I feel like these last episodes have been better. Um, I feel like they trying to close some gaps, but I think that we all are just over it because it's all over the place. Um, some things we should have figured out earlier. It's just ridiculous at this point. But yeah, I'm giving it a 4.5.
That's solid.
And if if Flynn lives, a la Empire, because remember Lucius was sick in the first
Lucius,
episode.
Lucius
I'm
was
not gonna
sick.
I'm not gonna continue to watch with y'all next year. If they don't kill this man with his Scottish accent, I'm done.
Let me tell you this
Hey,
right now.
it's funny, Keisha. I actually had another friend of mine, as well as yourself, and Dwayne. Like they are pissed that Walter Flynn's accent is so
It's
strong.
terrible.
Like, why is Tommy Flanagan using this? It's like he's trying way too hard, and it's like, how long you been in America?
It's terrible.
Nicole gave it a 4. Nicole, that's a high mark. Nicole, what did you like about it? Tell us. Let us know what you liked about it. You know, we love to interact with the chat, and you know, before we go on to our next topic of the night. So
Showing my man
Keisha,
the
you gave it
gallery.
a high rating, Keisha.
Because
They
like
keep
I said, I don't think the last two episodes was like really that bad. It was like action. It had a lot of different stuff. I'm just over it.
Tyrone gave it a 1.7. A
Yeah, you right.
Tyrone is
1.7.
hating it.
No, Tyrone
Yeah,
is really upset that this guy is
he
allowed to
right with
go to
me.
Chicago
He
and
right with
act like
me.
he the man of a town, and it just don't work like that. That's what Tyrone got the problem with.
No, me and Tyrone on the same page. That's the same thing I gave it. You know.
Yeah, but I felt that way in the first episode.
Then you got this dude. I don't want to keep seeing this dude's eye, man. Like why they keep, man? They doing that on purpose.
Oh,
Keep
Freddie
putting this
Gibbs.
dude up, yeah,
Yeah,
to distract
it's
you.
yeah, they're focusing on his eye too much now. Like, come on now, come on.
Come on, man. It's cheesy. You know,
Yeah.
and people mean spirited. Okay, people have different birthmarks and other things that are noticeable, and people just try to make it an easy mark. I don't like it. Be kind.
Nicole said it gave a little comedy with Liliana. Yeah, Liliana was hitting on JP. She was like, I could hear your voice all night long. Liliana. What was that?
And then she talked about she don't do white
Yeah,
guys.
Tyrone. He just doing whatever he want to do. Like whatever he want to do in Chicago, Tommy allowed to do.
He
Tyrone,
killing people.
we're gonna discuss this episode, the Oscars. So we're gonna discuss the Oscars and the festivities of the Oscars. I'm not ignoring your comment. So, with that, we'll segue into our next topic, you guys.
Don't get me started. You can start doing the line. If ain't nobody gonna start, you get me started on it. You get me started. I got a lot of what I'm saying.
Well, let me first
You keep dropping bombs.
let me first by saying I made a post on Facebook in reference to Will Packer, producer, director, creator of a lot of films and dealing with the urban genre, and how he was going to be the first person to ever produce, first black person to ever produce the Oscars, and we should support that, even though we think that we make a lot of money within the Oscars within film, that black directors are less than 1%, less than 1% of the movies that are made. And I was saying to myself when I was doing some research on it was how we should really support Will Packer and what he's going to try to do during the Oscars. However, I was not watching the Oscars, and most of America was not watching the Oscars. Most people will tell you that they saw what happened during the Oscars live, and according to the ratings, they're lying. Um, the ratings took a drastic turn after the infamous slap, and it took a turn upward. So the ratings actually did better after the slap. So Will, Will Smith, we all know, was up for Best Actor in a drama as Richard Williams, and he was going to be in the front row, as they always do with these nominees, because they kind of know who's going to win. So they invite the 4 nominees or 5. Chris Rock made a joke in reference to Jada Pinkett was going to be in the next G.I. Jane. Most of the audience laughed, wasn't corny joke, side joke, throwaway line. Will even laughed, and then he saw Jada's reaction. She rolled her eyes, and in my opinion, may have even said something. Now I could be
But
wrong.
can you give a little bit more background into the first G.I. Jane?
Well, what happened in G.I. Jane, what happened is Demi Moore, she was bullied during the show, but she had to cut all her hair off. And basically she was considered, as we would say, a tough woman. And she actually, if you watch the G.I. Jane, she actually outperformed all the men in becoming.
Yeah, but the main crux of it is that her hair was cut.
Yeah,
She
the
had a
main
crop
crux was
haircut.
her
Crew
hair
cut.
was cut.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that Jada has been having this bald head. Some people say that they knew Jada Pinkett has alopecia. Alopecia is an autoimmune
Alopecia.
disease. Alopecia is an autoimmune disease that attacks your hair follicles, so you go bald headed. You might even lose your eyebrows. It's very common. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of athletes have it. People that I know have it, so it's very common. Chris Rock has also made a movie about black women and their hair, how precious it is to black women, and how sensitive the issue is. So when he made the joke, it was a joke that most people would probably say was small in nature, but you never know how people perceive what you say about them and how they can offend it. That's one thing that we don't know is how people get offended off of what we say. Will laughed, giggled. It was nothing. Um, Jada's reaction was not pleasing. She rolled the eyes, may have frowned, and I'm telling you, I know how we move. She may have said something. Will proceeded to go on the stage. Unbeknownst to Chris, he had his hands behind his pocket back, and Will smacked him. And he walked off the stage, popped his, as I would say, popped his collar, rebuttoned his
Will
jacket,
smacked
had
the dog mess out of him.
He smacked the dog shit out.
had a watch yourself, watch yourself. Had a smirk on his face, had a smirk on his face, and
That's what he did.
you know, Chris Rock said, "Oh, Will Smith smacked the shit out of me." Oh, great night for the Oscars. So
you told me.
So as we talk about it, I'm gonna ask everybody that's in the chat, share what they want to say about it. I mean, I'm a little on the fence about it, to be perfectly honest with y'all guys. Dwayne and myself actually talked about it 6:30 this morning because I didn't see it, and then when I saw it, I said, "Ooh." Um, I'm on the fence about it. I'll probably explain my opinion about it during the show. I just think it was a very interesting moment, and one of the things that we do is we do shows and we try to be very objective, but unfortunately projection leads a lot of us into projecting our own beliefs and our own thoughts and saying what we would do and how we would have handled it if we were in that situation. We were not put in that situation, so we do not know how we would have handled it. So Dwayne, take it away, my brother. This is the real MVP. Wanted to say hello to you too, sir.
Hello. It's good to be seen. It's good to be seen. Yo. Okay. I'm going to take this in parts, right? I'm going to take this in parts. So y'all bear with me. And then, Keisha, Q, y'all jump in. But the Oscars, the Tonys, the Grammys, to a lesser extent, what are they mainly run by? They're mainly run by comedians. What's the main premise of the show other than the awards? The jokes.
The jokes. Right? The opening monologue is always like the biggest moment.
The jokes are part of the show, right? So fast forward earlier into the show. Go ahead and read that, though. Go ahead, because that's a lot. Go ahead.
Crystal said Chris Rock made a movie called Good Hair years ago, which was the forefront of the natural hair movement. He knows the issues and complexities that the black women face regarding their hair, especially alopecia. The joke was in poor taste. This was a critical and pivotal moment in both of their careers that unfortunately played out publicly and has caused a variety of conversations and opinions. Black women are disregarded, disrespected, dehumanized, and far too many occasions. The slap wasn't. The slap is more. It's more to her. She's gonna send me more.
Okay.
Go ahead, finish, Dwayne.
And I feel that. And again, well, let's just all say we all entitled to our opinions on this subject. There's no right or wrong, right? I watched most of this show last night. Earlier in the show, Regina Hill who was one of the hosts. There was 3 female hosts: Amy Schuster, Wanda Sykes, and Regina Hall. Regina Hall earlier in the show was bringing up men, doing a joke about she wanted all the single men up in there, and she made a joke towards Will and Jada. And was like, Will, you could come up on the stage, we know, like that, right? So Jada ain't go up there and smack the shit out of her.
Mm.
You know, Will laughed. Oh, I ain't gonna come up on the stage, right? So that's the first joke of the night, right? About them, about what they do, their open marriage, all that. But there was no outrage, right? There was no outrage. Okay. So Chris Rock said his joke. Will Smith laughed, looked at his wife, saw she wasn't feeling it. So he went up on the stage. He smacked the hell out of her. Pimp smacked him, okay? Turned around, popped his collar, buttoned his top shirt, proceeded to sit in the front and say, keep my bleep wife name out of your mouth. Said it again, right? My problem with Chris Rock is all professionalism goes out the window when you smack me like that. He had to see Will Smith in that very moment because let's be honest, folks. Let's be real honest. If that's Jimmy Kimmel, if that's Jimmy Fallon, if that's James Colbert, if it's any of them, Will Smith doesn't smack them. He does not smack them. Okay? He smacked Chris Rock because he felt he could get away with it and wasn't worried about what Chris Rock would do to him. The man made a joke about G.I. Jane, the next G.I. Jane. It's the joke he made. Did he say anything about her alopecia? He did not. Regina Hall bought into that whole entanglement and all that earlier in the show. There's no problem.
And
Okay?
Dwayne, let me cut you off
Then,
for 1 second. And I want people to reference. We did a show on entanglement when that whole thing with Jada Pinkett went down. And for you guys that don't know, Dwayne is a researcher. We all grew up in a town that we did our research, and they actually changed the definition of entanglement during that whole weekend of August Alsina and Jada Pinkett. So Dwayne was on the show
Can
and
I just
contributed.
say this?
Hold on, Keisha, and contributed. So Dwayne is not coming from a position of not knowing what he's talking, not saying that he don't know what he's talking about. Go ahead.
Ninjas get slapped every day for disrespect. I don't even understand like what the issue is. He felt like his wife was disrespected. He slapped the dog mess out of Chris Rock. Whatever consequences come his way, he deal with them. The end. You know what's bothering me so much is like these people who I'm doing air quotations that claim they woke and they always caring about what a Caucasian thinks. Who cares? Because if it was Mel Gibson or any of these other people, they would have reacted the same way. You know, like he's human. He had a moment. I wasn't in his shoes, so maybe he just felt like it was a lot going on. You know, he had a moment. Everybody was talking about, because my understanding, I didn't watch it, is that everyone was talking about them throughout the whole broadcast. They've been talked about for the last 2 years. They've been talked about how they raise their kids. They've been talked about their sons and their daughters. So, I mean, that's a lot on someone's psyche. So, just because someone is from the African American race, it doesn't mean that they're not human. And I think that that's what's bothering me so much. Okay. And I mean, now I wouldn't apologize. But see, now if I was Chris Rock, I need my lick back. See, because I wouldn't have cared about Will Packer, we would have tore up that stage like it was the African Globe.
listen,
But
it
that,
should have been the Source Awards.
but
They
you
should
know,
have
we a
done
little
this
ignorant,
version
but
of the Source Awards.
it would have definitely been a BET production.
But let me just say this, right? Because I shared a tweet, right, with Quentin, and Quentin say the young lady's name because I always butcher her name.
Ayala Vincent.
Okay, she tweeted, and I quote: "Beloved Will Smith has set a whole new standard for what it means to protect and honor your wife. Be mindful."
I wanna I wanna
Huh?
do- I wanna address that, Dwayne, and
Huh?
I want people to understand what I'm saying when I
Man,
say
please.
this. This shit got nothing to do with protecting his wife.
No.
This man's ego. We got to understand the difference between ego and protecting. This man's ego was attacked. As a man, I know exactly what he was dealing with. As a man who has matured dealing with their emotions, we all knew that Will was going through it. We've been seeing it, like Keisha said, we've been seeing it for the last 2-3 years of we could blame Jada, we could blame Will, of their family being in the talking point of jokes, the talking point of social media. It's embarrassing, whether you want to blame whoever, it's embarrassing. She has a platform where she has a talk show and she tries to talk about issues. And for some reason, even on her own platform, it never comes out right. It doesn't land well, even if she's trying to convey a message. A lot of people speak about their marriage, whether they got an open marriage, whatever they got, it's always talked about. I believe that this theme and this narrative that everybody thinks that this was a great moment for protecting Black women, I totally disagree with. And the reason why is because if you know the setting of the Oscars, it's I know we'll say families off limits. No actor is off limits. Jada Smith is an actor. Now, if it would have been, for example, let's just say somebody else's wife that's not an actor. Nobody even know who they are. I'm not trying to be funny. Nobody knows who they are. When you're an actor and you go there, you get cracked on. This has been going on since Bob Hope, since we were kids. Bob Hope did the most. He was the host of the Oscars more than anybody. I just think that sometimes we look into things a little too much.
I don't
And just
understand the whole protect Black women movement. So I'm just going. I don't get
well,
it.
Let me ask
the
you
thing
this
is,
question.
Keisha, the thing is that as Black people in this country, and
Mhm.
I could speak when I say what I'm about to say, because Dwayne and yourself are two people who I confide in with a lot of stuff. And one of the things that you both know is I hate the narrative of the gender war. That's probably one of the biggest things that I hate. Um, However, Black men and Black women need to knock it off. We got to stop trying to be victims. Like, we need to stop. If you want to protect Black women, I don't know no Black women that's not protected. Not none of mine. And I can say that, none of mine. And I'm talking about go down to the nieces. If they don't feel protected, that's a problem with me. It ain't a problem with outside society. So when people talk this, oh, Black women ain't protected, Black men ain't protected, I think we're falling right into being a victim. At the end of the day, we need to honor each other privately, publicly, whatever. We should not use our platforms, we should not use social media or anything to destroy somebody's character. We have a show, we talk about situations on our show that happen, but we don't character assassinate people. That's that's how it should be. That's how it used to be. For some reason, we have gotten to the point where controversy sells. Everybody wants to be polarizing. Everybody wants to have the clickbait stuff. Oh, you want Adam. You was for all us all. Let's get one thing straight. It's a whole lot of people that would have got slapped or got slapped. So I think that we make more than he got slapped. It's a lot of people that's gonna get slapped. It's people gonna get slapped tomorrow. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and people gonna sit there and take it on the chin. People getting disrespected and chumped off at their jobs every day and don't do nothing about it. Go ahead, Dwayne. You had something to say.
Um,
They was doing a jig in there. A lot of Black folks was doing a jig at work today. They were saying, "Yassa boss." I don't agree with Will.
Well, the thing is, and now I can finally say, because I didn't really say it in the group. Um, I'm not gonna say nobody was wrong. It just some situations happen. I mean, Chris Rock as a man, I think he should have defended himself. Some people be like he handled himself with class and decorum, but at the end of the day, you're a man, and a man should be able to stand on his 2 feet with his nuts hanging down and defend himself. I think that Chris played
Now listen,
himself by not
let me
defending
just
himself.
say,
I think that Will is. We have this narrative that has been around on black men for the last 4 years about black men being toxic masculinity, and this has been a real bad stereotype on black men. Hold up, Wayne. Hold up. Let's get one thing straight. What Will did, it's normal. It's normal. When you love someone and you can't control your emotion, you will do something that does not seem normal. Will, let me explain something to y'all. One thing about them jails, they filled up with men who could not control their emotion. And a lot of times it's over their women. It's not I've seen a bunch of Will Smith. I've been that. I've been in his shoes with not being able to control yourself because you feel hurt, you feel disrespected, you feel embarrassed. Go ahead, Wayne.
don't be surprised if Jada Pinkett comes out and says that her husband was wrong for the way that he acted.
Say that again,
Okay?
please.
Don't be surprised if Jada Pinkett Smith don't come out and say that her husband was wrong for the way that he acted. Y'all, but I'm gonna get y'all back. Hold on, I'm back. Don't be surprised because when that whole entanglement and stuff happened, how well did she protect her husband with that whole entanglement? How much did she protect her marriage, the sacred vow? Now you can say they had an open relationship and all that. He ain't approve of her sleeping with August. Okay?
And
He ain't
Dwayne,
put the mitts on August. He ain't put the mitts
But
on
wait a
August
minute,
in
they were
public.
broken up.
Okay,
He
here we
said
go.
they didn't have an open relationship, but clearly he knew whatever. I mean, he's no saint. So, I have a problem with what Will is suffering through. Me and Quentin talked about this earlier. MC Hammer, we all thought he was a corny rapper, but MC Hammer was from Oakland, and MC Hammer will put his paws on any and everybody. Will Smith has never combated his corny image. So where everyone like they really down on him, but I feel like he knew that she was messing with August Alsina. And they were on a break or whatever the case may be. So it was no need to put pause on August
I'm gonna ask you
Alsina.
guys in the chat. I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat a question, and I posed this question in the group. Will Will Smith and Jada be in the news within the next 6 months for something else?
Absolutely.
Listen, man. She put
Keisha,
him
why
on
you
that
say
red.
absolutely, Keisha?
She put him on that red table talk. She had no problem exposing this man and his emotions in front when it benefited her and her platform.
Okay, because Jada want a street dude, right? So she probably is ripping Will at home. You let that ninja talk to me like that? Like clearly, because he didn't have no problems with it, she had a problem. Then he had to react. See, she ain't really had no real street dude.
One of
Because
one of the things that
He said he from West Philadelphia, born and
yeah, he was
raised.
going
I
right home from the
I think that
library to the house.
I think that
He said
we
from
need
the
to be
playground is where he spent most of his day.
From the library to the house. That's where he was
I think
going. From the
I think
library
that
to the house.
one of the dangers of their relationship is the emotion. I do believe that Will and Jada, they got a beautiful family. They love each other immensely. But this is where people may get upset with me. They're toxic for each other.
Hey, listen,
They're toxic for
J-
each other. And
Jada,
it's gonna get worse.
Jada said this is what we do.
Yeah.
Sometimes that toxic love is their best love. You don't know?
So
Well, listen, you
Dwayne,
can't have it both
Dwayne,
ways.
let me ask you a
She want the
question.
toxic love, and she gets that from him, but he ain't street enough for her.
Dwayne, let me ask you a question. And
Why
then
can't
Keisha,
you have it both ways? I had to look
Keisha,
at you and
Keisha,
ask that.
Keisha, Keisha, the reason why you can't have it both ways is because now he has embarrassed himself and he embarrassed his family. And you see that in his apology. Let me ask you a question, Dwayne, about his tweet that he made last night and then the apology that came tonight. How did you feel about him saying, me and Jada got dressed up to cause a bunch of chaos? And then he said, and then on top of that, he doubled down and was like, you can't take somebody from Philly and Baltimore nowhere.
Right.
How did you feel
It's
about that?
almost like it wasn't staged as far as Chris Rock being in on it, but it's almost like they went there with violence on their mind.
Yeah.
You know,
I was saying to Keisha,
tweets,
Dwayne, I was saying to
you look
Keisha
at the
that
son talking, you're looking at the son Jaden tweeting, this
that's
is what we do.
yeah, that's what we do.
That's what we do. It is? I thought you was making water or something. Well, don't he make water or something?
And feed the
little
homeless.
guy.
And feed the homeless.
Yeah. That's what you do? Listen, man, the whole thing is just odd to me. But at the end of the day, that was supposed to go from the Oscars to the Source Awards because Chris Rock wasn't supposed to let that ride, man.
What I thought was interesting was usually, and we know, why didn't Will Smith get kicked out? Why didn't he get escorted out? Why was he
It's a
allowed
good
to make the
question.
acceptance speech?
All very
Why
good
was he at the
questions.
after party and Chris Rock wasn't at the Variety after party? This is known events that happens during the Oscars. That whole weekend, you got celebrities that throw their parties or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. Like I said, I just think, like I told you and I told Keisha, it's weird to me. The whole
Weird.
situation.
It's
Is
Hollywood, right?
yeah, and as they say,
Hollywood.
Holly weird, right? And it's like when you look at what happened, it makes you think it was staged, but you know it wasn't staged. But then you like, hold up, was it really staged? But it
And then you
was
had a
staged.
man. You had a man. You had a
I
man
don't think it
playing
was
peace.
staged. Chris Rock
You had
looked shicketh.
you had a man. You had a man playing peacemaker that didn't mind that one of his artists went down for murder, but he playing peacemaker. Oh, I'm gonna bring these brothers together. Don't worry about it. They're gonna meet, and this is
And
all
then
gonna be
and then
settled.
it's crazy. It's
Who
crazy
made it
that
right for
it's
Sean?
it's
Who made
crazy
it
that
right for Sean?
it's crazy that Puffy
Huh?
said that, and then TMZ got a hold of one of Chris Rock's friends and was like, they haven't talked about the incident. And willing,
Exactly.
like TMZ comes right back after Puffy makes the statement and says, "What are you talking about?" Like, I just find it interesting. I'm surprised that Chris
I
Rock
hate
didn't.
TMZ. They always in black people business. I do too.
I'm surprised
Man,
that
every business.
Chris Rock did not defend himself. That's just surprising to me. But and I'm surprised at how many people. I'm surprised at how many people are taking a side so strongly either way. Just put it that way.
Listen, can I ask you another question? No, I'm serious too. I'm not trying to make jokes because I don't think it was staged, Crystal. I really don't. But when you see the way that man was walking towards you, no, see, that's the problem, Crystal. That right there is the problem. And I'm gonna put a little bit of
One, maybe
myself,
two.
right? I had a cat when I
You want to
was
say 4 or
14
5?
years old that tested me because he was like, "Oh, it ain't nobody but Dwayne. Dwayne ain't gonna do nothing." And he ran his yap, he ran his yap, he ran his yap. And at the end of the night, he looked like he had braille on his forehead because I had to put them paws on him. And I'm not even that type of dude, so he thought he
Allegedly,
could get away with it.
allegedly.
It wasn't no allegedly. Y'all saw his face and y'all saw the aftermath of it. Okay? So you get these nice guys. Oh, Chris Rock is a nice guy, comedian. I'm just going to go smack the shit out of him because he ain't going to do nothing. That man from Brooklyn, too. You understand what I'm saying? For whatever reason, he was able to just
But you know what's
take that
funny?
slack.
You know what's funny about it all? And I'm not trying to say that this act is
I
funny.
can't beat Chris Rock. I'm
What
sorry.
what what's
I love
funny?
the Lord. I love Jesus. I love everybody.
What's
But
funny?
there's two things that's not happening to me. Okay? You're not spitting in my face. Okay? And as a grown ass man, you better punch me in my face. You better not open hand slap me. That's the ultimate
What's
sign of
Dwayne?
disrespect.
What's funny about the whole incident?
He open hand slapped him.
Before he slapped him, and this is how you know that Chris Rock didn't expect it. When Will was coming up on the stage, Chris Rock said, "Uh-oh, here come Richard." He acted like Will was still in character of Richard Williams.
Yeah.
He said, "Uh-oh, here come Richard."
So I'm glad you said that. Do we have a problem with the acceptance speech where he said, like Richard, I'm going to protect my family? And then he goes on to say he had to protect the female actor. He had to protect the two young female actresses. I'm sorry, I should have said female actress. The one that played Oracene, and he had to protect the two girls that played Venus and Serena. Protect them from what, Will?
What
were you protecting them from?
Dwayne,
on the set?
I want
to know.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you on my assessment of that. Everybody says Will Smith deserves a pass. That acceptance speech, in my personal opinion, Will Smith was full of shit.
Thank you.
He disrespected Richard Williams by even trying to use his anger as what Richard Williams did to fight for his kids to be part of the establishment. Richard Williams did not want his daughters to be denied. And this goes back to the narrative of the angry black man, or the black man don't know how to handle himself. Richard Williams, from what we know, he was a flawed man, but he loved his daughters and he taught his daughters the best way he knew how.
He loved half his kids. We gotta clarify.
Keisha.
I'm a mama.
Keisha, allegedly, please.
Allegedly.
Can we please read the statement that was released about an hour ago?
Go ahead, Dwayne.
You gonna do it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. And this is from Will Smith's Instagram, right? Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Award was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I'm embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendants, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Will.
I think even in that written statement that was probably done by a publicist, I think he's out of line. I think that apology is crazy, and the reason why is because Chris Rock never made a joke about your wife's disease. The joke had nothing to do with it. It was a joke that she was looking like Demi Moore in character. Now, if he would have said something, hold on, Keisha. If he would have said something about alopecia and this, that's a whole different ballgame. I think that a lot of people that have alopecia and a lot of women that don't feel protected are projecting their stuff into this situation. And I hope that everybody finds some type of way to get through this. Go ahead, Keisha.
Because my phone is about to cut off. So, have we ever thought that maybe Jada has something else going on with her with this autoimmune issue? Like maybe it's worse than because of autoimmune disease. Maybe it's worse than what we're thinking. Have we considered that?
I don't think that is part of anybody's thinking. I don't
But
think that.
that could be why he reacted the way he reacted. Because let's just think about Tracy Braxton. Tracy Braxton had been sick and nobody knew.
Yeah, but
Or
let me ask
even
you a
the
question.
guy from Black Panther, he was sick and nobody knew.
But let me ask you a question, Keisha. Why did his outrage not come until he looked at her reaction? Because he laughed when Chris Rock said what he said. And then he looked over at her and then he reacted.
Because maybe her health is failing more than what we know. That's all I'm trying to bring
No.
to.
I agree with you, but my point is his initial reaction was to
I
laugh
think
at the
though
joke.
women are particularly black women. We're more sensitive about our hair than what people know because our hair is always being judged.
Listen, let me explain something to you. I had a mother that went through breast cancer. And when she was losing her hair, she was putting her hair in the Ziploc. So I understand the importance of it.
So I don't
I
think
know
that
firsthand.
he was immediately upset. I think she was the one that was upset, and then that's why he
I
had the
think,
reaction.
Keisha, I think that based off of that, we all seen it, and when like you and Dwayne said, I think that makes it worse
Yeah.
because if you as a man don't know what will offend your wife, and you gotta wait to see her reaction to know if she's offended, something's wrong. I think that when you're around a woman, as much as a husband and wife should be around each other, I'm around females, and mostly I'm around females more than anybody, more than any, not more than men. I know what offends everybody around me. I know what offends Dwayne, and we've been friends since the sixth grade. I know what offends you, Keisha.
Yeah,
Like I
but
just
most
find
of
it odd. I'm not
but
gonna
most
wait
of
for
y'all
you. I'm not Keisha, as we say. I'm not gonna wait for you to ring the alarm for me to react. I'm
most of
not.
y'all don't know.
Huh?
Most of y'all don't know.
But look, but I'm not gonna wait. I think that what Will did basically was like you said, like he would his personality is he's laid back, and a lot of times his own upbringing allows him to how he want to shape his family. He talks about it openly about him being raised in a broken home. So the last thing that he wants is for his family to be broken, and he's going to try to do everything to protect it. With that, she probably giving him all types of hell with you ain't this, you ain't that. I don't know. I'm just speaking hypothetically. His reaction was weird. Even after the slap, he seemed like he was more mad when he sat back down than he was when he went up there. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Most people that get angry when somebody disrespects their wife, they ain't gonna go up there and slap nobody. They gonna go up there and get the tussling. They gonna go up there and give them the three piece. The slap basically was like Dwayne said, I'm slapping you because I know I could get away with it. And this is a message, like Crystal said, this is a message for everybody. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. Like he was sending a message for everybody,
But he
bloggers,
got to keep that. He got to
social
keep that
media.
same intensity because there's
It
going to
was
be
for
some.
everybody.
Listen, but he got to keep that same intensity because there's going to be some comedians that just don't give a damn, and they still going to go at them. Okay, and like I said, when that whole thing went down with all that, and maybe she was on a break. I mean, we use this break all the time, right? We using the break for Jada, but nobody wanted to use the break for Dwayne Wade when he had a kid on Gabrielle Union. Nobody
Evidence is
wanted to use
different. Evidence is
no,
different, sir. Now
nobody
you know
wanted to
you
use the
got
break
older
then.
parents. Evidence is different.
But I'm just saying, nobody wanted to use the break then. because they were on the
Because
brink.
it was evidence. She got to live with that for the rest of her life.
Okay, and he got to live with the whole world knowing August slept with his wife in this entanglement for the rest of his life. So, so the whole world know about the entanglement, and then he went and allowed himself to be on the red table and even open himself up more. See, so Will has really exposed himself to the world in his dealings with this woman. You understand? I stand by the fact that if that was Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, he would not have smacked her. I don't even know if it was a
Dwayne,
Dave Chappelle
let me
or a
ask you
Kevin Hart
let
that
me
he'd have
ask you
went
a
up and
question,
smacked
Dwayne.
him.
Let me ask you a
He
question
smacked
as
Chris Rock because he felt he could get away with it, and
let me
Chris wasn't going to do nothing.
let me ask you a question, Dwayne. As men, do you think that Jada puts Will in a good situation?
Not always. I really don't. And I'm just going back.
Explain that point.
I'm just saying, when that whole thing happened with their marriage, it was bad enough that it happened, but then you got him on the red table. And yeah, sure, he probably ain't need to go on that thing, but he went on it. And so a lot of his emotions, yeah, some of it may be about Jada, but I think a lot of it is about him and how he feeling, about how he's been portrayed through all of this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
could
that,
have been
like
the
I said,
emotions that he felt from that as well.
I think that as the
But the
man of the
moral of the
house,
story is
I think he's very embarrassed.
Chris Rock, defend yourself, man. Don't let no man come up there and pimp smack you in front of the world.
You guys in
I
the
don't
chat,
care if you
what do you
think you
guys
could
think?
beat.
Do you
I
think
don't
Chris
think if
Rock?
you.
Do you
I don't
blame
think if you
anybody?
think you could beat him or not. You go down trying.
You guys in the chat, do you think that anybody was wrong in this situation? Anybody was right? Do you disagree with what I said about or Dwayne said that this is what black women feel protected, which I do think is a bit of a stretch. I think that when when you have to protect the women in your family, I can't put that. Somebody from Facebook just put that curse word up there. I can't put that word on the screen. Um, do you think that Chris Rock was wrong? I mean, everybody's saying. I see the comment. I'm not gonna put it up here. Um, how is he a simp? This is what a simp is. How is he a simp in this situation? I mean, if anything, if you want to use that definition of what we call a simp, is the way that Will's emotions is getting played. The worst abuse is emotional abuse. Now, people may say disagree with me, but she's basically jingling him like a yo-yo. This is my personal opinion
I
that
hear
she
you.
has. Will loves his family so much that she got him on a string, and that emotional string will have you doing some of the most irrational stuff. And that's what he did. That was an irrational reaction. What Will did. That's not who he is. Come on, everybody know how Will Smith moved. He would have been into some stuff. But
Listen, he took
this
his
is what
Oscar
happens.
last night. He took his Oscar last night and was
Yeah,
getting jiggy with it.
that's the crazy thing, Dwayne. He went to the party like it was all good. Man, Chris allegedly Chris should have had the goons outside and like, you know,
He should have Brooklyn. He should have
I
Brooklyn in
I
tow.
I just thought, look, as somebody said on Instagram, it had to be Chris Rock because if it was Tony Rock, it would have been a whole different story.
Been a whole different story if it was Tony Rock. You better believe it. Hey man, listen. It should have been one of the
Chris Rock
biggest
let a man
moments.
smack him. He got hit so hard. He said he thought he said his
He
thoughts out loud.
did. He
He
did.
did.
He did.
He did.
Real talk. He
But
did.
as Keisha said, people get smacked every day, B. And we ain't making light of
No, but
somebody
listen.
being assaulted. It's
This
kind
should
of,
have been the
it is
this
what it
should have been
is.
the this should have been the biggest night of Will Smith's life. He won an Oscar for Best Actor, not no supporting, for Best Actor. And if you saw King Richard like I saw it, I watched it twice. He did an amazing job, man.
Just a note. Just a
But
note on the
let me
Oscars.
ask a question for the chat.
The Academy. The Academy. Hold on, Wayne. The Academy owns the Oscar. They own it. Even though Will Smith got the award, they own it, and they can take the Oscar back from Will. And basically, from some reports, they're contemplating it because they're upset. Twin said August was smacking Jada. This is facts.
It is
Facts, Twin.
That's what I'm saying, yo.
Absolute facts.
My point, Twin. My brother is good to see you.
Twin, let me ask you a question, Twin.
But can I ask a question for the chat?
Go ahead.
Here's the question I'm asking. Should he have been allowed to do his acceptance speech?
No. Will should have been escorted. People can say what they want. Will should have been escorted out of the Oscars, not allowed his speech. He should have still won. And his speech, in my opinion, made it worse because he infused the Williams family in his stuff. And I find it odd that he was not escorted out of the Oscars. And going forward, the Oscars will never be the same because comedians are known to crack on the gallery. This is what they do. So going forward, I believe, unfortunately, as they said a couple years ago, Oscars so white, we will see a white host of the Oscars, and you will basically see security there, right there. Like known, like you won't know who they are, but it's going to be security, so nobody does that again.
So, again, you can't get in the psyche of another person, right? But this was the joke that finally pushed Will over the edge.
Dwayne, I find it odd. I like I told you this morning on the phone. This whole situation is odd. It's a head scratcher. That this would be the real reason for him to go off. I just don't understand it. I believe Rock, as men, like the yo-yo thing, man. Listen. You don't love nobody more than you love yourself. This is a lesson for us. We could do 1,000 shows on the mindset of what happened with Will. Like this brother, I'm never gonna call another man toxic. That's for a clinician to call somebody that.
No, I'm not.
I won't do that.
I'm not.
When we talk about toxicity, we're talking about things in general. We're not talking about nobody specific. I'm just gonna tell you that I've been where Will was at, and when you have that emotion, and then you give that emotion, the key to that emotion, to another human being, it's dangerous.
I will say this, and I want to say it again. Again, we all are entitled to our opinion.
Somebody said, "Did you see G.I. Jane? I would have smacked him too."
Listen, we're all entitled to our opinions, and it's good that we can find some levity in situations because it is a serious situation. But I want us as a people to be careful. For someone to have the audacity to go on Twitter and say this is the new standard.
That was him that said that about G.I. Jane.
This is the new standard?
See, Dwayne, and earlier you guys in the show, Dwayne read the tweet by Ayala Vincennes that this is the new standard for protecting Black women. This is something that Dwayne and myself, emphatically disagree with. I think that we're projecting. We're projecting what happened as protecting our women. I think that this situation is, let it stand alone at what it was, and not try to derive a whole bunch of ills in our culture and talk about that. I think that we go too far with trying to project.
We got to be careful, people. Okay, I got 3 sisters. I got a bunch of female cousins. I got female friends. I'm gonna make sure they're okay, right? But we got to start setting the bar on this protection thing, right? I heard a young lady go on. I haven't been on because y'all know I'm doing my fast. So this was pre-fast. It's a young lady that moved from New Jersey and now lives in Florida. Okay. So, as we know, for New Jersey residents, we have gas attendants that pump our gas, right? So now she's in the state of Florida where she has to pump her own gas. Okay. She made a post about not feeling protected as a woman, a black woman, because she got to pump her own gas, and there's black men at the gas station that ain't offering to pump her gas. Stop it. That's not protection. Because I guarantee if some of them men would have went up to her and was like, hey, sweetheart, let me pump your gas for you, she gonna think they was trying to holler at her. Okay? Stop it. So we gotta set the bar. When are we supposed to protect you and when are we not? And who is supposed to be protecting you?
Is definitely
every John, Dick, and Harry walking down the street?
Dwayne, that's where we could definitely go into a whole bunch of different topics because it's layered. When you look at that situation, you do have some women, not most that I've came across, but some women that will battery pack a man to a point where they'll have a man fighting every joker that say something to him, and they'll manipulate the situation. I know it's a small sample size, but we got to understand that heart, man. And Will even talked about it. He said in his acceptance speech, "Love make you do some crazy." No, that's not love. That's control. Will make you do some strange things. When people want to control you, or you think you control your wife or your husband, you don't own your wife or your husband. They've been loaned to you, and your job is to take care of them and to protect and provide, not to think that you own them, because history tells us, and we hope that we're wrong, the Smiths will be back in the news in the next 6 months.
Soon. They're going to be on the red table talking about what happened at the Oscars. Will, tell us why you lost control. What was the real reason you flipped out? You know you could have handled yourself a little better. I'm telling y'all. He going to get played again on the red table talk. Book it. It's going to happen.
With that, we're going to close the show. Great show tonight. We know we usually we do our Power Book 4 Force review. We did that in the first half an hour of the show. And then we've been talking about the Oscars. Shout out to Will Packer. Give him his flowers. Hopefully he gets another time to do the Oscars and he can really his genius can be put on display. Shout out to Regina Hall. She did an excellent job. Shout out to our brother, one of the greatest musicians of our time, Questlove, who won for his documentary in Soul Fest. Shout out to all the winners that won yesterday. The Oscars is something, as me and Dwayne always say, the Oscars, for those that don't know, that Oscar trophy is only worth $1. Literally, it's brass. But one thing that the Oscars does, it allows those actors and actresses feel like they won and their peers allowed them to win. This is why it's so precious for them. So moving forward, the Oscars probably will never be the same. It's going to be a lot of changes. We'll see. The ratings for the Oscars has been bad. We'll probably see the ratings for at least the next couple Oscars be a lot better. As they say, nobody wins in this situation. And it gave us some good talking points going forward. Any final words, Wayne?
Chris Rock, man. Get
With
your
that,
weight up.
take care. Have a blessed night.
Get your weight